Leo could get it. Leo could definitely get it. Sherlock could get it. Dr. Watson definitely could get it. The B could get it. Jessie, she's a child. That's gonna seem weird. Billy could even get it. Yeah. Something about them just, yeah. Especially Dr. Watson. Hey guys, what's good? No, what's really good? Welcome back to Molly's World, where we hop in the director's seat, sip on our treats, and get into the real good deeds. And today we are getting into the suspenseful, creepy, romantic, old-time-ish, very nitty-gritty, somewhat beautiful and tear-jerking new Netflix series, The Irregulars. So without further ado, let's get into this season 1 series review. Action. Before we even continue, if you guys are watching this to find out if you should watch it, please go watch it now. This is a clear indicator that yes, the show is definitely worth it. Please stop what you're doing right now, go watch it and return, please. So, of course, I love to start off with my actors and give them their props and go down our characters. We have one of our main ladies, B, who was played by Thadia Graham. Then we have Leopold, who was played by Harrison Osterfield. Jessie, who was played by Darcy Shaw. Sherlock Holmes, who was played by Henry Lloyd Hughes. Dr. Watson, one of my faves, who was played by Royce Pearson. And then Billy, who was played by Joja Macari. Spike, who was played by Mikkel David. And then the rest of the, not irrelevant, but the reoccurring, but not constant characters. But we're focused on the main ones because they did their thing. I'm assuming we're gonna call them the Irregulars because that's what the show is called. And they're like this poor, I would say, group of children living in London and literally living off scrap, living in the cellar of an old pub. 15, 16, 17, they're teenagers on their own, either stealing things at the workhouse, selling their bodies. Like, it was sad in the beginning to find out how they got their living and where they came from. But as the show progressed, we could see a little more into their past and what they had to endure to get to the place that they were at now. Because of their diversity and their different backgrounds all coming together and their different personalities, it reminded me of like Blue's Clues. Not Blue's Clues, what the fuck am I talking about? Why would you say Blue's Clues? It reminded me of Scooby-Doo, where we have all these different personalities teaming up together to solve a case or find out who did what. And in terms of them being monsters and masks and like different weird supernatural things occurring, that aspect of the show definitely reminded me of Scooby-Doo. Back into my actors, I will have to give props to whoever casted this cast because every single person on this show could get it. From male to female. Because the moment I laid eyes on Dr. Watson, Mr. Royce Pearson, I said yes. Yes. I don't care if he's bad, good, in between. Pound me. Yes. I want you to put your pound. But it was something about him. I don't know if it was the mystery or just his features. He has these very nice lips, and the mustache and the beard kind of just like accentuates those lips. And then he has like this awkward shaped nose and like these eyes that are like almond shaped. I think I know why I'm attracted to Dr. Watson, and we're going to move on. Darcy Shaw, I have to give it up for Darcy Shaw. She literally played the hell out of this role as Jessie. She embodied this innocence, but this also rebellious teenager, but rebellious according to the things of that time, in terms of her wanting to go out more, in terms of her wanting to be able to work for herself, and her older sister, B, wasn't allowing her to do that. The way the story all comes together is basically revealed in the trailer, so we can talk about that. We have B, Jesse, Spike, Billy all living together, poor in their cellar, and somehow they needed money. So of course, you know, them interacting in the field and in the community that they're in, they have to steal, they have to do things to get by. And B happens to run into Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson now offers her a job to investigate a crime of these babies going missing. That leads to them doing more cases and more cases. But then in comes Leo, which is Leopold, he's the prince of Europe. No, is it Europe or England? The Prince of England. He doesn't want them to know that he's the prince, but it's also because he's been trapped in the castle his entire life. Because he has hemophilia, his guards and his mother are afraid to let him go outside into London and have fun or make friends, because they know how dangerous London can actually be. And on his first day escaping, he finds out that it's a harsh place. But even so, on that day, which was his birthday as well, on that day he saw B. He saw her, love at first sight, and he specifically wanted to find her again and would not stop until he did. So the following day, he escaped from his room and did what he had to do to find B. But with everything unraveling, I really appreciated Jesse's relationship with the person in her head. Now, I knew from the jump that the linen man or the man in the linen suit, something was off about him. Because as Jesse's external environment was pressuring her to dig deeper into her nightmares and find out what actually was causing it, I found it strange that the linen man was doing the same thing, but approaching it differently. And in my mind, I'm like, something about this just does not seem trustworthy. And Jesse at the moment could not trust anyone. And here's this man randomly meeting this girl, old as hell, is now explaining to Jessie in her mind that he's on his way to England to help her out or to help her find the Rip, which of course we know the Rip in the show is the opening between the spirit world and the normal world. And if the Rip continues to open, it can affect the entire world, or the world could vanish. So of course, you know, the entire world's at stake in the palm of some little broke London people's hands. As the show progressed, we learned more about their history and how B was in the workhouse and how she was abused and mistreated. And I feel like the show plays very heavy on that timeline, because although the suspense and the supernatural abilities and the romance that was happening throughout the show was very consistent and something that was worth watching, I feel like the attention towards the setting that they were in, the attention towards the difference in the social classes that these children had to experience and that these people were enforcing on them, I find it something that needs to be paid more attention to, because we have no idea what suffering is to someone, because such a word as that is to me geographical and personal, where it changes from person to person. Like if I was supposed to think of where they were in London and have it be placed somewhere in America, it would definitely be somewhere like Skid Row, where it's like we have all these people that are sick, that are mentally ill, that need help, but are all still living in their same community and somehow surviving and making it work. Here you have these children living in that very same community, where it's like some people are on drugs, they're knocked up, they're robbing, they're mentally ill, and these children have to learn to survive in that community. And I feel like that was a message that was carried throughout the entire show. But I feel like if you're watching it, please pay attention to that, because B really suffered. Jesse really suffered. I have no idea what Spike went through, but obviously he suffered. Billy himself suffered. All these children suffered, and they are mentally scarred. But because they're mentally scarred, is what brings them together. And then here we have Leo, who joins the group, who is also mentally scarred, but from a different social class, which is why I was saying that suffering is very personal and individual, because to B and everyone else in that group, Leo's had a better life than they have, because he's been handed things, he has privilege, he's royalty. But to Leo, Leo's like, no, I've been trapped inside my entire life. I've never had friends. The amount of materialistic things that are given to me are not worth what you guys are, what friendship is worth. So him being trapped alone was his suffering, and them being exposed to their harsh environment was theirs. From the time I saw Dr. Watson, I said, yes, this is gonna be my... Ooh, they got the Hennessy, yes.
And they got the Hennessy! Fuck! They got the Hennessy!
Sorry, spoiler alert. Come to find out that Dr. Watson was actually the one who opened the original rip. And because he opened the original rip, it kind of like made me go, what is going on in this show? That's when everything took a turning point, and I was like, I have to sit and like analyze now. So Dr. Watson turned out to be the one that originally opened the rip. And my mind is like, wow, I have to really think about this, because why would he open the rip? Come to find out, Dr. Watson was trying to impress Sherlock, because he was in love with Sherlock. So my intention for wanting him was definitely right, obviously. But he was in love with Sherlock. I was trying to impress him. But Sherlock was so caught up in this other woman loving her. And that woman turned out to be B and Jesse's mom. And Sherlock turned out to be Jesse's father. The storyline continues to unravel. The friendships between Billy, Spike, Leo, B, and Jesse like continues to fall apart, because here we have Billy, which somehow is, I don't know why he's attractive, but something about him's attractive to me. I don't know. But here we have Billy. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. Here we have Billy in jail because he attacked his adopted father, who in London, the workhouse is kind of known as like a foster home, or like a place where children who don't have parents go to and they take care of you. So he went to confront this man and ended up in jail because he fought the man and killed him. And now Spike has to like get him out of jail. And the way I also love Spike for this exact moment. One of my favorite moments. Spike goes to the jail and lets Billy know that it's kind of sad, because Spike is that character throughout the movie that nobody really pays attention to. But I love the fact that he brings attention to the fact that nobody pays attention to him, and he is the glue. Everybody has their role in the group, and he is the one that keeps everybody together. So when things are falling apart, he finds a way to bring them back to what works for them, and that's their friendship, their home, and considering themselves as family. And I love that idea of a chosen family, that your family and the people who are blood are not sometimes the people who truly understand you and know what's best for you. Sometimes you have to create that family. And this is exactly a beautiful example of that. But another one of my favorite moments from Spike is also that same episode where he goes to Leo to try and convince Leo to let Billy out using, his royal prince powers or whatever. But he says something to Spike says something to Leo that kind of just like shakes my heart, and it kind of makes me want to cry. But it was so true, and such a constant theme that ran throughout it. Leo is sitting here saying that he doesn't know where he belongs, because he doesn't want to be in the palace. He doesn't want to be a part of a royal family, but it's his duty, it's his job. But he also doesn't feel like he belongs with the Irregulars and B and everyone else, because he's still tied. His blood doesn't represent that. He didn't come from that. He didn't suffer the way they suffered. So because their suffering's too different, he feels like he does not belong and that he's broken. And then Spike turns to him and said, exactly, because you are broken, you belong to us. We are a group of broken young people making it, and we're making it because we love each other. And I just figured out why I think all of them are attractive. I think it's because they're broken. And did I just give a real tea about my taste in men? Because Spike is kind of attractive, and so is Sherlock. And Sherlock was the most broken all of them. So That's real tea. Another one of my favorite moments has to be the episode that focused on the tarot cards, because they were these deaths that were happening and they were positioning the people's carcasses and bodies in forms of bodies on the tarot cards. And a lot of people think that tarot is kind of like, you know, demented, devil, voodoo, blah, blah, blah. But I enjoyed that episode because I know what tarot is, and it was very interesting to see it play out and then them use the meaning of the cards and the symbolism and everything else that the cards represent throughout the episode. I found it very relevant or current to my situation and time. Jessie and her supernatural powers, she did what she had to do. That man that came in the linen suit, he was weird and crazy, but all of the supernatural, suspicious, mysterious things that you love about, you know, shows like that, it's all in there. I believe that this show is definitely beautifully constructed because one of the final scenes that we see to the end is B sitting confronting Dr. Watson, who just lost Sherlock. Sherlock went back into the rip with his wife, or Jessie's mother, as they know. And as we know, Dr. Watson was madly in love with Sherlock. So to lose him was like, damn. If you guys are looking for something creepy and mysterious to watch, please hop on Netflix, do it as soon as possible. If you guys enjoyed this review, please scroll down, hit subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you get updates for when I post. Feel free to leave comments. We can discuss the show, any theories that you have. Will Jessie continue to open rips and get Sherlock back? Or will she enhance her powers? What's gonna happen with Leo? And B, what's gonna happen with Dr. Watson? We have no idea. But I'm open to discuss it all with you guys in the comments below. But this is all for now. I love you guys so much. Until next time. Mwah.